So, at long last, we come to the very final stage of the game, Level 8, Buzzer's Haunted Tower. If you couldn't tell it was haunted, the developers very handily put lightning in the background. Smooth, Taito, smooth. So this is it, the final stage of the game, and as you would expect for a final stage of the game, it is the hardest by far. We're in a tower, a deadly tower you might say, and the level is divided into 3 sections. Each section is guided by a sub-boss, and one feature of this level is that all the obstacles and enemies, bar 1 and 2 of the sub-bosses, you'll have seen in this game before. They are all taken from previous stages of this game. Now, that's not new at all, I know, but it's kind of disappointing that they didn't have the originality to put anything new in this level. I mean, those fire wheels are from stage 5, for instance, and these terrapins were from stage 7. And the fire wheels will get it on your wick after a while, because they don't do much damage. Like, they do minimal damage, but they can get kind of annoying. Plus, here you've got 2 to fight, plus enemies, so it can get pretty chaotic. So my advice is, for this part of the level, is to take your time. In fact, you should take your time throughout all of this level, because if you rush through, you are going to get yourself killed. If you see a fire wheel, destroy it before you move on. And that way, you should take minimal damage. Another tip I would give you for this level is to collect all the magic bottles you can. Believe me, you will need it for a later part of the level. In fact, you'll need it if you want to make the final boss easy. Not much to say about this section of the level, really. I mean, we've seen it all. One thing to point out though is that those ninjas, I believe those sprites are new. The enemy is not new, but the sprite for them is new. I'm not sure what's up with that. I'm not sure why you would bother to change the sprite for one level. Was it to try and trick the player that they thought it was a new enemy, when it was just a reskin of the original? I've no idea. I don't work for game designers, unfortunately. I'd like to, but I do not work as a game designer, so I can't really answer that question. Anyway, enough prattling from me. It's time for the first mini-boss. And those amongst you that remember the intro might well recognise this guy. He is in fact the demon that kidnaps Princess Sophie at the very start of the game, which of course sets the events of the game into motion. And I'll be honest here, I was expecting a more impressive fight between this guy and Finolan, but sadly he doesn't have that many attacks. He can shoot those discs at you, and he can swoop down and try to charge you. It just flies around really, and if you just do a double front kick to him, it will wreck him, basically. It will take off at least a bar of his health if you do it right. And that's about it. That's all you have to do. Pity really, for quite an important character of the story, he goes down as quickly as that, but oh well. And because I've been collecting a lot of experience prior to this level, defeating that boss, the experience gained from defeating that boss, actually allowed me to level up for the final time and gain the final kick of the game, which I'll explain about after we see this knight, which is the only original enemy in the entire level. Nice work there, Taito. Well, you could count the new ninja sprite as an original enemy, I guess, but I count it as a reskin. This is an entirely new enemy. There's only 3 of them, but it's an entirely new enemy. And that Metroid-esque column of steam will actually chase you across the floor. At least I think it's supposed to be steam. So you want to get through this section as quickly as you can. Once you get to this floor, however, you're completely safe. The steam can't touch you. So yeah, the final kick is known as the Blazing Flip Kick, but that's a ridiculous name for it, so I'm going to rechristen it the Supersonic Spin Kick, which, thinking about it, is just as ridiculous, if not more so, but such is life. It replaces the standard kick that you get when you press up and press the kick button, whereas the Double Butterfly Kick, which is the official name for the kick we got in stage 7, replaces your normal standing still kick. And I have to say, Double Butterfly Kick, that's a cool name. Blazing Flip Kick is kind of ridiculous, but Double Butterfly Kick, now that's a cool name for an attack. You'll also notice that our magic meter and our health meter has changed now. We have a cap on it, and I think that's just to show that you can't go any further. Not sure why they did it, but hey, I guess it showed you cannot go any further, so I guess it's just to clear up that for the players. And we finally find a use for the Magic Boots spell that we got all the way back in stage 2. it allows you to walk on spikes basically without being hurt. To be honest, I'm not sure that was worth the wait. Now our second mini-boss here is a centaur that shoots arrows into the air. Really random inclusion to this game, and also kind of pointless because you can just go up and do this to him. Yeah! Not much else you can say about that. As pathetic as that boss was though, he was the last easy part of this level. Because while the first two sections have been kind of forgiving, this will just kick you in the balls every time. I know it doesn't look bad now, but wait until a few seconds have passed. My god. This is just unfair what they're asking you to do here. So after you get through these few enemies here, you have to climb up the final section of the level, with sludge bubbles raining down upon you from the stage 5 boss, mages, and to top it off, spikes jutting up from the rocks in the ground. Now luckily the sludge bubbles will disappear after you get to a certain point up the tower, but the mages make this much trickier than it has to be. Because you can be going for a jump and the mage will appear out of nowhere, hit you and completely mess up your jump, and if you're unlucky, that'll kill you, that'll knock you into a pit and you'll die. And to make things even worse, this pod level I think is randomly generated. I say I think it's randomly generated because in my several takes through this level, my several times playing this level, the obstacles were different. I could have sworn the obstacles were different in that certain platforms had rock spikes in them and other times they didn't. But there is a trick to the rock spikes, which is very, very useful indeed if you want to survive. What you do is that you jump on the platform and you perch on the end there, and then if a spike does pop up, then it won't hurt you. So that's a really useful tip if you want to get through this level. So our final mini-boss, sadly, is not an original one, it's the Bone Dragon from level 3. Luckily, he's very, very easy. You just need to get Earthquake and stop time and kick him to death. But you do have to avoid the sludge bubbles that have magically reappeared. So just be careful, because if you let your guard down, the sludge bubbles can knock you into a pit. And the bubbles will not stop until you go through into Belzed's inner sanctum. Now you might expect upon entering Belzed's chambers here to be attacked by the Sorceress directly, but that doesn't happen. Instead she uses her magic to bring these statues on the wall here to life, and you must fight them one at a time till all 4 have been destroyed, and then you fight Belzed. Now, after taking 3 hits, the statues will transform into random enemies found throughout the game. You see here we have a skeleton warrior, a ninja, a lizard man, a purple frog, a fungus, and an armadillo soldier. And throughout the course of this fight, at least one of the statues will turn into all of those forms. But it is kind of random which form they will turn into, so you have to keep your wits about you. In fact, I would suggest keeping your wits about you throughout all this fight, really. I mean, it's not that difficult. It doesn't seem that difficult at first glance. It can seem very monotonous, tedious and boring at first glance too. But I would keep your wits about you. The purpose of this fight is to wear you down until you take on the final boss, Belzed. But you can let down your guard and you can do something stupid and you can get hit. And if you get hit, you'll have less magic to fight Belzed with because you'll have to heal. So only attack really if you're sure you can do it without being hit right back by the enemy. The flying kick works wonders against most of these enemies except the lizard man. And the sliding kick isn't bad either. Against the lizard man I would suggest you just do the double butterfly kick and hope he doesn't put his shield up. Because for some reason the double butterfly kick will not hurt you, even if you kick his shield. It's weird, I don't know if it's a glitch, but it's a darn useful one for this fight. I'd also like to point out just how fucking awesome the music that you are hopefully hearing during this fight is. My god, the NES was not meant to produce music of this quality. I know it's not great quality, it's just an 8-bit chiptune. But my god, it captures the atmosphere of this fight perfectly. And I make no apologies for not speeding up this fight, because if I did speed up this fight, as boring as it can be towards the end, I would have had to have sped up the music as well, and I'm not doing that. You are going to listen to this song, damn it, in all its 2.5 minute glory, and you are going to enjoy it. Well, you could just skip to the end of this and go straight into the Belzed fight, but what would be the point of that? Why would you deprive yourselves of such great music? And I am totally not dragging this out longer than I have to while I wait for the fight to finish. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for is Belzed! So this is it, the final battle against Belzed, and as you can see she has two attacks. She comes down from the sky and then she'll fire lightning from the heavens. Both of these attacks are extremely damaging to you. They will take off a bar of your life if you're hit by them. And even direct contact with her will take off a bar of your life. So she hits like a tank. But you can cheap her out just by using the earthquakes, not Mega Man. The earthquake magic to freeze time, and then she's easy pickings. I should point out that this fight is usually a lot harder, but for the sake of time and effort, I just got her in a loop using the earthquake spell, and then kicked her to death. Like this! Ding dong, the witch is dead! And now we can all enjoy the credits. So for our ending here, Fenolan sprouts a pair of wings out of its back for no apparent reason, and carries the princess off to safety, all the while merrily ripping off Kid Icarus. And he also sets fire to Belzed's tower because, you know, they destroyed the king's castle, not to mention all the people inside it. So, he's just going to set fire to the tower. It's eye for an eye in the kingdom of Laurel, I guess. I guess that is the system. And I love how they just make a brief hint here that there would have been a sequel. How it says that Fenolan disappears, never to be seen again. Unless the kingdom should be in peril again, in which case he should return. I.e., there was a sequel in the works, except there is no evidence a sequel was in the works. This game came out in the very late stages of the NES, and there's no evidence an SNES or a Game Boy sequel was ever even penned. And then this is just shameless and quite frankly derogatory towards the player. Once again, you have tried a very difficult task. So is this implying you have to beat another game before the game considers you worthy enough to beat Kickmaster? And who the hell is Cal? And if you're wondering, the extra quest that it's talking about is not different enough from the first playthrough of the game to warrant going through the game a second time. Actually, there's 3 times you go through the game. The second time the enemies are harder to kill, but there are no changes to the game. And the third quest I haven't even done, but I have been told it's not that different to the original as well. So there's really no point going through the rest of the game. Which means that this is the end of Let's Play Kickmaster. I'd like to thank all the other non-losers, but especially Freezing Inferno, because you gave me some killer ideas to make this LP better. And I'd also like to thank you, the viewers, for watching this, and for putting up with the long delays, and I'm really sorry about those delays, but they couldn't be helped. So thank you for watching Let's Play Kickmaster. I will hopefully have my next LP started in the next couple of weeks. But for now, I have been Rainiac. Good night.